I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin. In this video, we're going to have a look at the crypto market of today, especially crypto gaming and the absolute SolChicks disaster. Nothing in this video is financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Bitcoin appears to be stable. Let's first have a look at what's going on. So over the last 24 hours, it's moving between 43 and 43k up and down, and thereafter quite stable. Still quite a bit volatile, as you can see, the major jumps. Basically for 5 days moving in a linear upward trend, and then for the last 2 days, 3 days right now, in a linear downward trend. Basically the fear and greed index still around the 44, which I think is quite optimistic still based on the numbers we have seen in the market. We are, however, no longer in neutral territory. We are now again in fear, basically the instability of Bitcoin. When we look at Ethereum, obviously the NFT markets have been exploding, or at least more traction, because of this quite significant drop from about 3,200 and a half to about 3k to about 2.9k, and basically stability right there. Everything else in the top 100 is making gains today between 1 and 4, sometimes 5%, not super significant over a 7-day average. However, the last 7 days still a lot of red in the top 100. When we look at gaming tokens in general, this pattern is consistent. 7-day average in the red, last 24 hours in the green, no huge volatilities. As we can see when we take, for example, Vulcan, which we look at every single day, it is now quite stable. It can go either way. It can go up, it can go down. But one thing that you do know is that Vulcan will have quite drastic movement, as it always does. There is some risk exposure there, but also some opportunity depending on your risk tolerance. While the world's making about a 9.5% gain, which is quite interesting, it's a lot higher than the relative average of the other projects. Let's see where Krabata is at. Again, stabilizing, so that's good news. Most of these projects primarily looking for stabilization at this point, this moment in time, so to say. When we go to the launch pads, we see some gains being made. So Superfarm making some gains. There is definitely some announcement there regarding imposters, right? So if we open up Superfarm and then imposters, the imposters game, the Twitter went live. So for imposters, when we go to actual Twitter and then go look for the imposters game, did I play imposters? Is that it? They changed the thingy. Yeah. So there's already a 25k followers. If you look at play imposters, the link tree is up, and basically it has a countdown: 3 days, 4 hours, 54 minutes, 20 seconds until the reveal of the imposters website, probably the major announcement on how the mint will go, what will be required, etc., etc. Very bullish on that one. I have myself a Superfarm NFT to qualify from the Genesis series. The floor is about 2.4 Ethereum to qualify for the whitelist when the announcement is made. And I hold about $3,500 worth of Superfarm, which you can see I called that Superfarm low, basically about right here, 60 cents. So there has been quite a significant gain. I didn't buy myself up until about 80 cents. So I did miss out on a significant gain. However, I'm not there for the gain. I am there primarily to participate in imposters because I'm super bullish on that. When we look at all the other launch pads, where did the launch pads go, guys? I just had the launch pads. Now the launch pads are gone, probably because I opened the Superfarm one. But basically you go to categories and then you type in launch pads number 80 right now, and here are all the launch pads. So Cedify gaining, actually gaining, but that's obviously most likely to do with their long announced roadmap of launching projects. And in addition to that, they have the Cedify Fund NFT token launching soon. Most of the other launch pads quite in the red still, 5 to 20%. Some actually 30%, which is extremely significant, as every day, I keep saying it for everybody that doesn't understand, when the market is bearish or not bullish, so whether it's stable or bearish, either one of those two options, projects raise less funds, which basically means at the same time that IDOs don't get sold out, private sales don't get filled, there's leftover allocation, which is bad for launchpads. So launches get postponed, launchpads have no value, people sell their tokens. That's basically it, the entire summary. Now, let's talk about the disaster, what you came here for, the SolChicks token. So the vesting was released today, and as I said, it was going to 2 cents. It's actually at 2.7 cents. And there has been some weirdness on the chart, right? Because I think somebody tried to spike the price a little bit before that vesting was released 2 hours later, because it basically went from 2.9 cents to 3 cents, right? Where there was about 20K worth of volume, which makes no sense to buy right here if you know that the vesting is being released. There might be some little buyback action or something going on right there. We definitely want to zoom in on the disaster that accumulated right here. So they actually reached 185% of daily volume. That's crazy, but not the right way. These are not buyers, these are sellers, right? So it went from 3 cents to 2.7, 2.71, and is basically stabilizing right here. So as soon as the claim occurred, the dump happened as well. Everybody is super bearish. This project will do 150x. You're full of shit, mate. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. 150x on a $280 million market cap, fully diluted. Are you mad? This is like, in your opinion, it's $100 billion, $50 billion game. Fuck no, it's not. However, looking at the positive side of things, 2.7 cents, can it really go any lower? I don't think so. Right? When we look at the actual SolChicks Twitter, did they make an announcement or did they do anything? I think everything is super dead. They're just doing more and more cash grabs. So the last one was on February 8th. It did have some engagement, but you could win some shit, right? And then since February 8th, so 7 hours ago, love in any shape or form, chick love, it got like 12 retweets, 46 likes out of 300,000 followers. So definitely a lot of fake followers right there. However, you can now play the demo for an airdrop. So head over to Game Access and then you can play the game demo. There's a leaderboard. Average time taken to win, 361 seconds. You can participate in the Gleam, which basically follow, retweet, and then you can join the competition. And 2,000 people have joined so far in the last 24 hours. With your 300,000 people audience, that's nothing, especially for a competition. So everything is pointing in the direction that 2 choices: either get out this project as soon as possible, take your loss, right? Because I think the cheapest entry was 4 cents. So in this case, you lose 1 cent per token. Or otherwise hold and hope for better results, hope for some kind of pump, if that would ever occur. But you can see it's definitely not looking that great. So there was some kind of like rally here. I don't know why, but then it was linear downward trend from there. Do I think, in my opinion, this is the right time to sell? No. Have I sold my tokens? No. Why did I not sell my tokens? Because I was busy recording YouTube videos. That's the truth. I forgot, actually. Am I going to sell right now? Also, no. I looked at the price, got in at about 4.75 average, which means a 50% loss-ish. I'll probably hold off a little bit. When the market pumps, I assume SolChicks will pump a little bit as well. I'm looking for, let's say, 4 cents. Right, and so it doesn't need to gain that much. I think it's possible. When we look at the 1 month chart, it did have another pump. I don't know why, but as soon as it reaches maybe even 3.5 cents, I'm going to pull out. But in that case, it will be quite significant. I still have about $10,000 worth of vesting, so I could sell it right now and get 5,000, or I could wait maybe 1 or 2 weeks and get 7,500. 2 times, right? Because there's one more vesting period coming up. So that's like an easy 2.5K. I don't need the liquidity right now, so I'll just hold off. keep it in SolChicks for now, even though I don't want to. But for most of the smaller investments, according to my opinion, of course, I would definitely get rid of it, as I don't think it has any long-term potential. I do think, however, it brings opportunity cost holding this token, right? So the 5K is not as significant for me, as I don't have a relevant destination for it right now, where I would actually... what I would actually do with these tokens, right? That's basically the main thing. If you would have something that you would want to use it for, then definitely sell it. So it's 2.8. There was a huge drop here. People are buying right now. Here was the drop, right? So it definitely went from like 3 cents to about 2.6. The drop wasn't even as significant as I thought it would be. And people actually started buying a little bit right here, and then there was a little bit of a push again. So of course, there's already people who find opportunity where there's little to no opportunity to be found, in my opinion, right? However, if some people know something that I don't know, because I haven't been keeping up with this project at all, then they might find something worth, in terms of opportunity, right? So definitely on the DAX as well, a big downward pattern. When we look at the recent trades, it's not loading. Here we go. So there have been 3 a.m., 3 p.m. Okay, so the dump. So there's almost no volume actually. So the dump were only these tokens at about 310, 310, 310. Okay, that's crazy. That there almost was no volume there. But it did go from like 3.5 to 3.4. But this chart is looking mad weird as well. So it's saying at 2.8, but the chart is not even up to date yet, it appears. Anyway, I rarely use the Radium DAX, right? So definitely this one is a lot more accurate. And you got Maxi as well, pulling in about 150k volume. So the main volume is on Gate, which makes sense. It's still sitting at about 3 cents, but that's delayed 2.8. So obviously there would be arbitrage between those two. Yeah, I'm just holding on, getting rid of it. 3.54 cents, most likely. I don't mind taking some small loss on this because we did make some significant gains on the other batches, so that's fine. However, if you do need the liquidity, just dump it, because I don't see any reason why all of a sudden this would pump back to 5, 6, 7 cents. I don't think they have any big announcements coming up. I think they're doing just more cash grabs. They're selling more NFTs, which is kind of useless unless they're using it to burn tokens, which they're not going to do. So I have nothing good to say on this project. So let's move on. Are there any other projects that have good potential? Yes, Unix is still holding strong. After my announcement of the partnership in my Digits Club, if you haven't joined yet, join through the link in the description down below. There was a significant pump, and that pump actually has sustained. So the volume has dropped again. So the volume was like 460k. Then we came in, we pushed about $600,000 worth of sales. It went up to like 1.1 million, but nobody actually dumped. So everybody was like, oh, seed investors are going to dump. They made a 12x. They can dump and we just buy the volume. It's okay. If I can buy Unix right now for a cheaper price, I will. And I've already made $5,000 gain. So I did look at Mouse Hunt yesterday, right? Hasn't done that much. LuxRare is again losing significant value at about $2.48. So I called it mad risky at 550. And when you see the patterns, you've seen the patterns. This takes time. You can see the linear downward trend. Very, very good. Yes, there were some pumps in between, right? But literally everybody asked me at about 550, is this going to pump more? I was like, it's just too risky with the high APR. It's like unsustainable in the long term, right? You might make some short-term gains. So if you are in the yield farming, I'm not saying that's a bad business model because this is still crazy high APR. But you got to take into consideration the loss of the value of the token, the same way we do this with vesting launchpad tokens. just take it into consideration, make the calculation, analyze the risk, take into consideration your risk tolerance. Is it worth it to you? Yes or no? That's basically it. Magicraft not doing anything, again stable, right? These projects all in all have been moving in a linear downward trend, and that's what happens in the bearish market when there are no announcements. It's actually quite frank, quite normal. Other than that, there haven't been many updates. Imposters is basically the biggest thing coming up for Superfarm in the next couple of days. That will be a huge announcement. There will be a huge mini bull run on Superfarm and everything attached to it. I did learn some new things about their team, over 100 employees working on it, so definitely bullish on that in the long term. Other than that, the crypto news, to be fair, kind of boring. Nothing is really happening. I did record a lot of videos today for next week. Every morning, a new research report on super early games. That most of these have not done an IDO yet. Most of these have not even done a seed round yet. So super early, there are sometimes no white papers, sometimes there are, but of course I review them for you every single morning at about 10 a.m. UTC. Not 2 a.m., that's crazy, 10 a.m. UTC. That's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.